All right, so at the top of page 204, it gives you some review from last week. It says to add integers with the same sign, we're going to add the absolute value. So last week I said if it's the same sign, we find the sum. So you add them, okay? So on our examples here, -3 and -2, do they have the same sign? So we're going to find that. What did I just say? Find same sign, we find the sum. Thank you. Sum means the sum means the answer to a addition problem. Okay, you should know that. The answer to an addition problem. So you could just add those. 3 and 2 give me, Aaliyah, 3 and 2 give me 5. And then they're both negative, so I keep my sign. They give you a line chart or a line graph here. You always start at 0. They went -3, so down 3. -2 more. Do we get the same answer of -5? Yes. Okay, let's look at number 2. -26, -17. Do they have the same sign? Yes. Okay, so we find the sum. So we're going to add them. What is 26 and 17? If you don't know, write it out vertically. They tell us it's 43, and I keep my sum. Questions with that? Okay, you are going to work. It's A, B, and C, and then check with somebody sitting next to you. So guys, you'll just have to walk over.
Can I do it by myself?
A, B, and C. You can do it however you want. If you want to do a number line, or if you want to just do same sign sum.
No.
That works too. -5 and -7, do they have the same sign? Yes, so we're going to add them. 5 and 7 give me 12.
-12.
And then they're both negative, so I stay negative. Did I answer whatever question you had? Was it A you had the question on? Oh, I thought you said you were confused on one.
Oh, no,
B, do they have the same sign or different signs? Same sign, so we
-14.
add them. What's 10 plus 4, Abigail? 14. And my sign is? They're both negative, so I leave it negative. Don't say minus. It's not minus, it's negative. Okay? Same sign or different signs? Same, so we find the sum. So we add them. What's 14 plus 16? 30. And my answer is? Negative. Questions on those?
Oh, I did it wrong.
Not too terribly difficult. What'd you do wrong, Malia?
I did this one little dot.
What dot?
I don't know. It was like in the video. The number one.
So now we're going to talk about adding integers with different signs. So same sign with sum, different sign, we find the difference, which means we what does difference mean? If we find the difference, we subtract. We should know these terms, okay? So same sign sum we added, different sign difference, we're going to subtract them. So let's look at the top of the next page. Okay, they have 5 and -3. Same signs or different signs? Different signs, so we find the difference, which means what, Abigail? What does difference mean? Subtract. So what is 5 minus 3? 2, okay? So if we start at 0, I go +5, I go to the right, 5. -3 goes back to the left, 1, 2, 3. They end up at 2. Okay, 5 minus 3 is 2. Let's look at this one. 4, -3, -2. Same sign or different sign? Difference. So we find the difference, which means to what, Emma? Subtract. So 3 minus 2 is? 1. Let's see if we end up on 1. So I go -3, +2. We end up at -1. So if you find the difference and you know it's 1, Then how do you know whether it's positive or negative? We talked about this last week, Kaylin.
If negative or positive, it's a bigger number.
Not necessarily the bigger number,
Well,
because essentially on a number like 2 is larger. But I'm looking for the greatest what?
we can say number
The greatest what?
without the negative.
What do those lines mean?
Absolute value.
Yeah, I'm looking for the one with the greatest absolute value. So what's the absolute value of negative 3? 3. What's the absolute value of 2? Which is larger, 3 or 2?
3.
What sign goes with 3? Negative. So that goes with my answer. Okay? All right, work D and E. Check with an elbow partner. Number 6. Same sign or different sign? Desiree, same sign or different sign? I have positive 6, negative 7. Those are the same? No, they're different. So we find the difference, which means 2. Subtract. Good. So if I subtract 7 and 6, what do I get? What is 7 minus 6? 1. What has the greater absolute value? 7. What sign goes with 7? Negative. You got to talk louder, sorry. Okay, so then I know my answer is going to be negative. Gage, you should be up here. Okay, negative 15, 19, same sign or different signs, Lily? Different, so we subtract. We find the difference. What is 19 minus 15? What has the greater absolute value? 19, which is positive, so I know my answer stays positive. Questions on that?
Opposites, when you add them together, what do you always get? 7 plus negative 7. Do you have more positives or negatives? Neither. So what's your answer? 0. Because when you add opposites, your answer is always 0. Okay, on number 6. Do I have more negatives or more positives? More negatives. How many more? 5, right? Because 8 minus 3 is 5. Therefore, since I have more negatives, my answer is negative 5. Questions on that? Okay, on number 7, there's a couple of different ways that you could do it. Okay, you could add your like terms. So we have negatives, right? Right? Okay, so I could add negative 15 plus negative 2. So if I have 15 negatives and I add 2 more negatives, how many negatives do you have? I have 15 negatives and I add 2 more negatives. How many total negatives do you have? 17 negatives, right? So I would have 2 plus negative 17. Do I have more negatives or positives? More negatives, so my answer is going to be negative. How many more? Do I add or subtract those two numbers? I subtract them. So 17 minus 2 is 15. Questions on that one? Okay, there's another way that you could do it, and it's probably the way that I would do it. If I have 2 positives and 2 negatives, what does that equal? 0, right? So I could say 2 plus negative 2 is 0. So then I would have 0 plus negative 15. What is 0 plus negative 15? Positive or negative? Negative 15. Okay, so 2 different ways to get the same answer. Questions? Okay, try the guidance at the bottom of that page. More positives or negatives, you have more negatives, and you have 2 more, so your answer is negative 2. Do you have more positives or negatives? Positives, how many more? 5, so your answer is that. Okay, I would have added my 0 pairs, so negative 6 plus 6 is 0, plus negative 14, so my answer is negative 14. Okay, go to the next page. Okay, on the next page, the last example that I have for you is a roller coaster. So I'm going to draw it for you. So we have a roller coaster. It starts at point A. It goes up 20 feet. It goes down 32 feet. And then it goes back up 16 feet. Okay, and lands at point B. It wants us to write an addition sentence to relate A to B and then solve it. So if I go up 20, is that positive or negative? So So I have 20 plus, because we're writing an addition sentence. If I go down 32, positive or negative?
It's all on there.
What?
It's all on there.
Negative. Stay with me, please.
Make sure if you have any Boston test,
Plus,
they go back to the negative.
if I go up 16, positive or negative? Positive and 16. So then I have 20 plus 16 is 36 plus negative 32. Do I have more positives or negatives? How many more? 4. Okay, your homework is to do page 711, 1 through 11. Everybody needs to get that done.